Why do
Ah,
you still have the Man U plaque on at the back?
you're
No.
ridiculous. You know that, right? You're absolutely
That's a
ridiculous.
nice
I,
shirt, by
I
the way.
I like it
Thank
too. I
you,
like
bro.
I like
Thank
the
you,
gold
bro.
seams. I love it. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I wanted to spice it up a little bit, especially after the horror show we've had this Sunday. All right, boys. I'll get myself into the game. It's been a sad as
We
well.
shall overcome.
Yep.
I
I
love
don't think you should be.
Outside the real,
today.
the
I don't think
banter.
Ayo, you should be excited like that too, though. Because when you look at Arsenal, I feel like there's a lot of things to talk about when it comes to
Oh,
Arsenal too.
absolutely amazing.
On
It
Liverpool
looks
too,
amazing too.
you know.
I'm just, yeah, to be.
Oh gosh. All right, boys. Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, everyone. Welcome, amigos, to the Football Amigos show. It's your boy Mide, as always. Welcome back. Not as enthusiastic as I would like to be for obvious reasons, but the show must go on. Of course, I have my two amigos here, Amigo I and Amigo Sam. I will start with you. How are you doing today?
I'm good. I'm good. Just happy to be alive, man. Yeah.
Oh, that's good. That's good. Me
Look at me
too. How
talking
about
like I'm a paratrooper. No, I'm just okay. I'm just chilling. Yeah.
I'm glad you are. Glad you are. How about you, amigo Sam? How have you been?
You already know. You already know. Why did we stop
Yeah.
the music? I should still be dancing.
Oh, of
I'm
course you
enjoying the
should.
moment. Oof.
Oh
Three
gosh. Well,
zero
obviously.
away, clean. I'm feeling great on top of the world right now.
Yeah,
How you
amigos,
doing?
I'm gonna need your help backing me up if you can, because it's gonna be one of those banter fields and shows from the two amigos here. For obvious reasons. Week three is now officially over. All the games have been played, which is interesting because if you're a team like Manchester United and you haven't played well in your first three games, the next 2 weeks is all about the banter on Manchester United, and to be honest, deservedly so. We have a packed show for you today. Please like, share, and subscribe. Share to your friends. Looking forward to the show. Today, we're going to be reacting to week three from our different teams. We're going to also be talking about now that it's in the national break and the first three games have been played by each team, based on our teams, what things could be done to maybe improve or maybe officially start the season based on some of the games we've seen here, or also what do we need to continue doing from our different teams to be better? And of course, I would love to hear your opinions, amigos, as well. Like, share, and subscribe. After these three games, of course, we're going to hear from our amigos here. What stands out to you that would change the course of the season? We would love to hear some interesting insights from our amigos today. I will start with you. Reactions from week three. What are your thoughts? It was a 1-1 game against Brighton. I did tell you it was going to be interesting. But of course, there was a controversial call
Yeah,
from a referee standpoint.
I think it was extremely interesting, but for very different reasons. Personally, so that decision was made at 48 minutes. I'd forgotten Mitoma was playing. I think we had them under control. I would have preferred it for us to be more clinical and over the game, but in terms of the threat from Brighton, I think they were perfectly contained. So I think it was more of a third party as opposed to what's it called, as opposed to what Brighton were doing. I would say I was annoyed by the way they played. I thought that their behavior and the way they went about the game was. I mean, I blame the referee for letting the game get to that level, but the things they got away with playing that game frustrated me, and the things we got penalized for playing that game frustrated me. The positives from the game, I was really happy with how we controlled the game prior to a red card, and I liked how we kept a lid on a very decent Brighton team. I loved how the players showed good character, how they did not capitulate as soon as they considered the red card in a goal. I also loved how we created chances after going down to 10 men. Under
I
a
agree.
different scenario, we could have had two goals come in either through Bukayo Saka or Havertz. So I love that we were still able to reconfigure. Calafiori was a brilliant addition, and his forward runs were pretty amazing. So I was really happy with how we created chances. And just to shout out two players, Havertz, he is becoming a phenomenon. His overall game is amazing. And I think one of his biggest tools is his runs from deep. So he starts his runs very, very deep. So normally a striker is expected to start his runs from just side to side with the last defender, but he actually starts his runs much deeper. And the funny thing, he actually makes it so that he has no trackers when he's making his runs. And it actually creates, so it's a very clever thing. We did it in the preseason against Bayer Leverkusen, and it looks like that's going to be a thing that's added to his arsenal. I just, hope that he gets more confident and clinical, but I'm very, very proud of what I've seen so far. Raya is incredible. It took a second to be clear. It wasn't super clear last season, but this season it's just beyond a doubt his quality and why Arteta made the decisions he made last season. And it just encourages us to just trust the process. The negatives, I really think that no matter what happened, no matter how unfortunate things were, if we are to keep up with Manchester United and Liverpool, there is no excuses. So no matter what happens in the game, you still should find a way to win. I know it's a really unrealistic thing to ask, but if you expect to win, that should be how it is. I'm very disappointed in Declan Rice. I believe his decision making for both yellow cards were suspect, especially the first one, which was a tackle he was never going to make. So he really should have pulled out. We weren't in danger. So that was poor decision making. And in the second one, he put himself in a position to be effed by the referee. Like, so ultimately it is his responsibility. So I was very disappointed in that. Also, I was very disappointed in the goal we conceded by Brighton, even though we were down to 10 men and we're in the process of bringing Calafiori on to restructure. We still should have held it down during that meantime, and really we should do better in that scenario. And then lastly, I really do think that we've been making a little bit too many errors in terms of build-up possession. And I really think, obviously, as the goal is a perfect example where our positioning can be a little bit better. And I'm only just saying this not because I think these are big improvements that we need to make, but it is just the margins compared to Man City right now because they just haven't dropped the ball in any way. And so you almost have to be perfect to match them. And so I'm criticizing the imperfections, knowing well that they're doing a lot, really, really, really well. Yeah.
And that's the mentality to have for a team that wants to go toe to toe with Man City. You mentioned about, and I actually watched that entire game. You mentioned about some of the mistakes you were making. I could give them the excuse, yes, it's the beginning of the season. Some of those passes might not connect every now and then. But to your point, that's the difference between you coming 2 points clear of Man City and winning the title, and 2 points or 3 points clear of not winning the title because of those mistakes. When you make mistakes, the Premier League is unforgiving and teams will punish you if you make that mistake, regardless of how experienced you are and how many Champions Leagues you've won, or how young you are and you are just dipping yourself into the limelight. You have to be on your toes. So I absolutely agree with you. Sam, your thoughts about Liverpool obviously beating Manchester United 3-0. It's one of those games where, from a Manchester United perspective, which I'll mention more later, Liverpool deserved it. Sam, thoughts?
Yeah, outstanding work for the team as a whole. My thought, the team has an identity. A quick one is what we picking up from Jurgen leaving. A lot of us, I'm still like my belief keeps growing day by day. The Man United game just boosted my belief in the formation that I'm seeing in the coaches' post match interviews, and which is one of the things that I'll talk about in Manchester United point of view. But when it comes to the tactics from the coach, I think is outstanding. When you look at, I mentioned this in the previous show, Liverpool is no longer the defensive. So Jurgen had two tactics that, from my observation, the attacking, let the wingmen do the job. Then we shifted in the last 2 years to a little bit of defensive mindset. Let the center back, let them sit back and let the defensive midfielder do a lot of support for the defense and let the two guys just push forward, let your eights and all of that, But now we midfield controls the game. The game between Man United and Liverpool was killed in the midfield. And that's how you win the title. When you look at the Man City, when you look at even the Chelsea of their prime, the midfield is where the whole thing happens, right? So for Liverpool, what we did well in that Man United game was we pressed from the middle, like we've done in the last two games. When you look at our preseason games, we are like closing down opponent like crazy. But this time, the midfielder are not afraid to step in, step forward, and just go clean the ball. A lot of people are calling names out when it comes to Man United, calling out individual error. I don't see so much of an individual error. I think it's a team error from Man United. And we can talk more about that if I have time to break it down, to break the Man United side down. But Liverpool is done well with the midfield. More importantly, unlike Man United, the forward are not afraid to track back. I shouldn't say afraid. They don't get too tired or overly committed that they're not tracking back. You see Mo Salah coming back to save the day. You see even Luis Diaz coming back to save the day. So outstanding work for the team. And I like I have to give shout out to Gravenberch again for incredible machine like work rate in the midfield and not being afraid to commit and go forward. That's my thoughts, and I like what I see. I'm a believer of this coach every day, every game, and hopefully we get to the finish line.
Can you speak on Salah?
Absolutely. Uh, no, not a big fan of Mo Salah. When he first came in, and
Oh, wow. Okay. Okay. Thank you
yes,
for clarifying.
yes, I'm still a big fan. When Manny stepped away, I'm not. I now support and like Mo Salah. I just felt Mo Salah took the spotlight and took undermine the work rate of people like Manny, Firmino. That's the only reason. Nothing against his game. I think he's a fantastic footballer. He's a very skillful footballer too. Mo Salah, game three assists, three goals, incredible. But the Man United's game, he was involved in all of the goals. What can I say about Mo Salah? He's got the energy. He's got the ability to track back. And that's what killed Man United again. And again, I'll talk more about this. Mo Salah is what really, really helped us from the midfield. We getting this ball, we getting these passes across from the midfield. It, the chances of Mo Salah missing a pass to another player, if you really want to pass or kick the ball in a poor direction, is very low. So I'm talking about accuracy. And Musala's accuracy really, really helped us. And just being able to track back. That's my thoughts of him.
It's
I
interesting you
haven't
say it.
seen
Go
I haven't
ahead.
seen decision making like that in a long time, and he has done it so much. Like for me, the his goal just to think to know what to do. The pass for Luis Diaz, just to know what to do. In that, it's not clear how he gets the ball to Diaz. What's it called? Is that you can play through across the line on the ground. You can cut back, but his understanding of what to do and the execution of that Like his first time shot, how does he know his first time shot should happen? Like it's just, I think he might be the greatest right winger we've ever seen. I can't think of it in the Premier League at least, because outside of that I go Robin. But in the Premier League, what's it called? I don't think we've seen like he he might leave, but I think he leaves like one of the greatest players to ever play, not just in Liverpool but in the Premier League ever. Like especially on that wing, I can't think of anybody that comes close. Yeah.
I think for me, it's one of those things where it's you mentioned decision making, Ayo, and you were spot on. I think for me, what sets you out to be a world class player versus a normal, decent, good player is your ability to do or make world class decisions consistently, regardless of whatever team is in front of you. And you are absolutely spot on. Not only is he making decisions that are correct, he's making decisions that are 3 steps ahead of everyone else, and he's doing it consistently. Now, there could be a big argument about the best right winger in the Premier League over the past 10, 20 years. There can be arguments about that, yes. But to your point, Mo Salah is definitely top 10 for me and pushing on top 5. And the reason why I say that is because, again, it's the ability to consistently make the right decisions majority of every game, regardless of the team you play. That's what sets you out to be a world-class player. It's not just about mouth. It's not about your brand. It's not about any things you do off the field. It's about what you do on the field that not only impacts you as a player, but impacts your entire team and impacts the opponents in front of you. I'll be honest with you, from a Man United perspective, amigos, please like, share, and subscribe. Love to hear your thoughts. I saw that game twice intentionally. I watched the game normally, and then I saw the highlights. And part of the highlights also had some analysis as well that some of the pundits do. And after watching it, I can honestly say, and I don't say this too often, but I have to say it when it's true. I would love to see United play the way Liverpool played. Not only has he kept some elements of Jurgen Klopp, he's come in and he has added more possession. He has added a precise way of attacking. I could actually see a pattern in how they attack, and he has brought discipline as well. Those are the 3 things, Arne Slot has brought to that team, and he's playing players to his style of play. If I was a coach, I would initially have picked Gakpo on the left-hand side of the field just because of how he did in the Euros. But he didn't pick him. He chose Luis Diaz for a reason, and now he's delivering. From a Man U perspective, where do I start? Number one, it was a bad day in the office, right? We fixed certain mistakes from the Brighton game, but then more issues came up. But those issues are part of a problem that we all knew. Everyone is going on Casemiro's head. He's one of the best defensive midfielders we've seen in a long time. His time has passed, and hence why we brought Ugarte into the team. So we all know that it was going to be an issue when we couldn't get him off our books, hence why we bought Ugarte, and rightfully so, he's going to replace him. That's, players have those days, we move on. We may know it's the same thing. He's still young, he's 19, he made the same mistake. Those things happen. But those things happen because of 2 things. One, the style of play, and 2, understanding how to execute that style of play when you have the ball versus when you don't have the ball. And what I noticed today is, number one, our formation doesn't work. I don't know why he's playing a 4-2-4. I don't get it. And if you're playing a 4-2-4, why are you playing players in the middle that don't have the legs to run that midfield? That's the reason why Alex Ferguson said games are lost and won in the midfield. There's a reason why. He was right. That's where we fell apart today. The attacking side of the field, we already know what's going on there. Again, coach's favoritism cost us as another issue today. Why is Rashford starting the game? Yes, he made two crosses into the box. Xerxes could have scored. Fine. Anyone can do that on the field. To me, personally, I would drop him. I would. I would start Garnacho on the left, Ahmad on the right. Because what that's going to do is, one, it's going to send a message to the team, and then two, maybe light the fire that's not in Rashford anymore, light it up. And then it becomes a situation where if he can do it consistently, then he can get himself back into the team.
I want to hear Aya's reaction on that real quick. Of course, I have my own thoughts, especially the
I
execution
I
part.
I I, I was really happy with Rashford. Of all the players in your offense, Rashford was the person that was making good decisions. He was because his ability to be in the right positions, his ability to actually make space for himself and actually create effective chances for what's it called for Man United was second to none across that entire front. I don't think Fernandez did enough. I don't think Garnacho, I'll give him the benefit of a doubt that he was on the right and on his preferred, what's it called, position on the left, but I don't think he did enough. And Xerxes, obviously, we know how that went. I think Rashford was the lone bright spot in your offense. And what I think is happening with Man United, like I said at the beginning of the season, is this season is not about pushing on. This season is about arresting a decline. And their decision making in the transfer market has been excellent. But it's 3 steps forward and 2 steps back. Because for them to make those acquisitions, they had to lose a lot of good utility players. I was watching Wan-Bissaka today, earlier, and he's a great, great player. He might not be the have all the bells and whistles, but it's a very effective player. I was looking at the player you brought in, the kid in the midfield when you took Casemiro off.
Collier, yeah, one of the
Collier,
youngsters was making his debut
I,
today.
I watched his play and he just felt like a budget McTominay, who's a budget Muller, and like what's it called? But so what I'm saying is that like it's not like they're not direct additions. For you to bring in Euro and the league, you lose Farah. Like it's not you're losing something to get these players, even though on aggregate it is better. And as coach tries to figure out how they're going to work together, what's it called? It's it's just going to take time, and you can't be figuring yourself out against Liverpool. I have never seen such a wonderful, wonderful, disciplined management of a game in how I saw it. It was so masterful. So you're talking about the 4-2-4. That is exactly what Liverpool did to absolutely keep your holding midfielders in your shadows. And they, instead of actually trying to, because sometimes even if it was open to them, they would press on the front foot and win it high. But most times they wanted to choke from all directions, right? And leave it. And so they wanted you to go past that first four, and the two in front close in, and the two at the back close in, and they do it very, very fast, and your players couldn't cope. Casemiro couldn't cope. I think he was at fault for the first goal. I'm not exactly sure what he was trying to do, but the second was just excellent pressing, and the third, was it Mine that lost the ball on the third? That was just excellent pressing. It was just one of those things where you had been outthought, and I loved what he was trying to do because he had Ten Hag, because he had one player at the base of the midfield, and that wasn't working out. So he brought in a player who was actually a forward player, and he brought Fernandez and Mino to the base as a double pivot. And that was very interesting because having the budget McTominay run up and down and try and link play, it looked like he was paying dividends. But then Liverpool adjusted. So I think Liverpool just had the quality and the tactical, what's it called, astuteness to just reinvent
Look at
themselves.
Amigo Sam laughing. Look at him
Yeah,
smiling over there.
to reinvent themselves throughout the game that Man United don't have the quality to. It's like it's always like a game of chess and mouse where it's like, oh, you make a change, oh, I raise you one. You make a change, I raise you one. And Liverpool just kept raising to the point that Man United ran out of chips in terms of quality. And so what I feel like with the team is obviously Euro is going to come back. That leaves you option, but I don't think he's the problem so much. but we got to figure out how to get the team playing well enough that they don't fall too far behind. And next season we bring more quality. Because even you look at some of these players, like is Mino truly ready, or is he the best of what's it called of what you don't have right now?
I,
Like, I'm serious. These are real questions because I looked at some of the things he was doing, and I liked that he was doing it, but I got frustrated a lot. Like you see how much energy Fernandez is trying to put to actually get something out of the game. He shouldn't be making those runs. Like it should be a much more organized, like it should be a much more organized support around him. He shouldn't be running himself to death just to keep your press going. And like it should be more, it should be a more concerted effort from the team. And I feel like the quality to meet Liverpool's quality is not there. Like you brought
So
on,
you can go ahead. You finish your thoughts. I would
yeah,
chip in, bro.
you brought on Ahmad. Ahmad is not ready. I like he's a great Premier League player. Don't get me wrong. And when I mean not ready, I mean to challenge. Right? You brought in Garnacho. Garnacho was benched the entirety of the Copa America. He was benched for people who were like 35 and 36. And even when he came on, he was very ineffective. He has a lot of learning to go. We know these players' ceilings are high, which is excellent that we have them in Man United right now. But I really do think that the quality to implement the things that we want them to implement at the level is not there yet. And there's a almost like a horrible acceptance that this is a 10-year problem that is not going to be pretty to get out of. And this is some, I mean, in the end of the day, uh, you can bounce Hag and everything changes. but, but for me, I don't, because I saw adjustments. I just didn't see the quality to execute those adjustments. And I think we have to be a little bit patient with the team for that. Not my 2 cents. Yeah. Mhm.
You mentioned a lot of good thoughts. To be honest, I think it's not personally. I think it's not so much of the quality. Of course, lack of execution can be pointed at. You can always point that to quality, but it's the fact that what they're trying to do, I don't think they've practiced it. On paper, they're trying to play 4-2-3-1. But I really think they wanted to play 4-2-4. Here's why. The first few minutes of the game, they were like on point. Like, yes, you can see that they were ready to go. But the moment the midfield messes up, the four up front are now moving to save the day. They're now moving to go to the back. I like how your cat is just coming to support you. And, the cat knows that the you could use some a lot emotional support, right? Emotional support. But the point is, they just stay in the front. They're not helping out in the middle. And it goes back to execution. They really want to attack and destroy Liverpool, like from the very first minute. If what they're trying to do, if what they really set up for 4-2-3-1 or 4-2-4, what I'm thinking, if they literally had practiced that and they executed that well, they would have killed Liverpool. Because this is my thoughts. As a coach, I'm not a coach. I'll take that back. They probably done some reviews and say, you know what, midfield is holding us down. If you can get away from the midfield, don't worry, we'll just overwhelm the defense. We will score, we'll kill the game. But our midfield, Liverpool's midfield was really stepping up, stepping to the challenge. Those chances where you can say individual errors, but really it's a collective team fallout. When Casemiro lost the ball, you can look at the body language. I really wish we can see that game on the pitch. I was looking at some clips and I'm like, where are these guys? What are they doing? Are they running out of gas in first 20, 30 minutes of the game? So the forward is not really helping to put pressure back and say, okay, let's see if we can slow down whatever Liverpool is trying to do with this game. So it's a lack of execution and lack of discipline. The players don't know what they're doing. The only player you can see from Fernandes' face, The only player that was tracking back this much was Fernandez, and it was because he was frustrated. And I agree with you, Ohio. Maino wasn't really helping out in that game because this is not a time for you to start playing too many cleaning. There's that immaturity showing up in that game. This is the time for us to get back on our game, on our game plan. If they really know what they want to do, what they want to do, this is time for them to get out there and say, okay, quick passes, let's execute. So they lack execution of whatever they want to do. It looks like they never practice it. It looks like they never discuss it. It looks like the players are not individually disciplined to man their position. That's my own thoughts.
No, I sit here and just listening to all these things, and uh, if I was to put everything together, you both are absolutely right. I couldn't say I couldn't say any differently. If I could put it together in a nutshell, it's really a combination of the decisions the coach has made has an adverse effect to how the team plays, which then creates this vacuum of mistakes that then cost us the game. Because if you think about it, if we had a good system that works and he has the right players to play in that system, there will be more understanding because they've practiced it. There will be less mistakes because they know what to do if they lose the ball versus when they don't have the ball. And then they can actually execute more successfully as the season goes. So, like you said, for Man United, it is going to take time. I don't know if we have enough patience for the coach. I tend to want to give him that time. I don't think everyone else does. And I
Let
have
me
this weird feeling that
So
I don't think he's going to survive.
I don't think he's going to survive because everyone is on edge, and I'm afraid for that. I don't think that's the best thing that can happen to Man United because people are like, "Oh, he has 3 seasons." He has not. He has had 3 seasons of topsy-turvy injuries. Remember, we were playing a defense with Well, you guys were playing a defense with Casemiro and John Stones. Whatever you're doing in the training ground while you're trying to make that work, that's
You mean
irrelevant.
Maguire? I think you
I'm
mean
sorry, no, no,
Maguire.
no. I mean, Casemiro and John Stones at a certain point. Like I think Maguire was still
No, he
injured.
was right. He's right. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Like so, like whatever work that you think is going to be happening over 3 years, like everything was just survival. Like, and so you need an actual base. And the only thing I can blame Ten Hag for were the acquisitions that didn't work out. That he was, what's it called? Uh, uh, had a hand in making, like Anthony and things to that.
Mention.
Onana is one of them. I have
Yeah,
to say Onana is one of them.
I see the positives and negatives with Onana. So they're for me, it's all these plays are like I think Jurgen Klopp is actually the great person that said it. He was when they were talking about why things were not working, the Gegenpress was not working, and he was like, these are high risk plays, meaning that these are plays games that you have to execute it at 90-95%. What's it called? Accuracy and quality. If you just drop your levels by 2%, if you drop your levels by even just like if you come in there with 89 or you come in there with 88, they'll think you're insane. There was a time where in Arsenal we said we are going to start playing out of the back, and our goalkeepers were giving the ball away. But if that's how we're going to be playing, we have to play through the what's it called? And we actually kicked Ramsdale because of that very reason. When Arteta, they asked Arteta why he kicked Ram, they said bravery, meaning that if this is how we said we're going to play, it does. I don't care that you made a mistake. I care that you played the way what's it called? We are supposed to execute. And I think that I can see because there were a lot of times I saw some love passes from him to get the ball out to the wing backs that I enjoyed from Onana. There are things in there that I think are salvageable. His quality when you're on the back foot is not where it is, but a team that's playing on the front foot, I think he would be a quality goalkeeper because whenever you're taking a lot of shots and a lot of pressure, you want a De Gea, right? Whenever you want to actually impose yourself on a team, technically you want an Onana, and I think they're just trying to get everything together that they can actually play on the front foot. And I think for where Manchester United is going, Onana is great for where they are now. He might be frustrated, and I think that's the thing that people have to what's it called to to balance. I guess if that's a good word, where it's like this is a very precarious time in Man United's transition that it really has to be managed with a very cool like what they call the best thing Ineos can do is not listen to the fans at all in this moment. And I understand the fans need to be frustrated, but they have to be understanding that yes, we bought really good players. The Ligt is a good acquisition. Euro when he's fit is a good acquisition. Ugarte is a great addition. I don't think he solves your problem in progression, but he's still a great what's it called acquisition. And even Xerxes, he's still finding his feet. This is his third game in the Premier League. Like what's it called? And we have to understand that these things need time to bed, and these bunch of acquisitions are significantly younger, fitter, and overall in terms of a quality ceiling higher than what you had last season. And I think that is it's not ready to challenge a team like Liverpool. It's just not. You guys are 22 points behind them last season for a reason. Uh, but I do think it's still positive. I saw things that might work against a Crystal Palace. I saw things that might work against maybe Newcastle. Newcastle seems something else this season. Maybe Newcastle or West Ham that level, but it might not work against a Man City. It might not work against a Liverpool. It may even work for Arsenal. I don't know. But like I wouldn't go there. But I think that's the tension that the team has to like work through.
So, if I can add anything to that, I think the problem that I have with a coach is lack of adaptability and lack of flexibility. The first two goals, I thought they were gonna like come on back in for staff and really change that formation and do something different. Nothing really changed. The first after the first goal that was ruled out, I really think the coach should be up there and start saying, "Hey, I really need the midfield to close in a little bit, like closing a little bit. Maybe I don't know who's gonna drop. Maybe Fernandez drops down. Let's have a three-man in the midfield and shift." They didn't shift. That's why they kept making the same mistakes. And also, adaptability means, or flexibility means, hey, you two, uh, Fernandez and who's on that right now? Was Ganacho today? Ganacho, come on, pull back a little bit, just help out in the midfield. But there was no communications like that. So that's why I think coaching. Go ahead, Ayo.
Is Ganacho who you want on the ball?
No, no, no. This is exactly it. Go. I like this. Kind of makes your point clear. Lack of quality, right? However, on games like that, tying back to what you just said, there's some things you can't do against Liverpool. There's some things you could do against Newcastle, Crystal Palace. And one thing that you have to do when it comes to playing against big team like this is being able to shift, maneuver. Like, oh, what's Liverpool doing? They coming at us from the midfield. I cannot afford to have two guys in the midfield. One cannot run like that much anymore. One has a probability of just dribbling too much and I lose the ball. So you have to be shifting. You're not just sitting down there. And when I look at his post-match press conference or press interview, I'm like, I think this guy is too nice for Man United. No, it's too nice. And all of a sudden, it made it all positive. You have to be able to say, hey, come on, we have to do this. This is what I would need to do. Because the players are getting.
Sam, they're kids. They're kids. I feel. So,
kids, I get it. You know, we always say things like, oh, is this person ready? But in Premier League, hey, you have younger kids. Saka was not 40 when he started. No. You know, so we have to be shifting. One thing that I like about the German league is the fact that you can be as young as anything, you're gonna kill it. You know, I remember the days of Dortmund when even players like Sancho, Pulisic, even Haaland himself, They were not like 25, 29 when they were starting to make things happen. When they were like, getting on the billboard, even talking about Jude Bellingham. So why is it that we're making, when these players play for top team, all of a sudden we say, oh, they're young. I listen to some of these pundits too, that they're young. No, they have big contracts. They
So
come here to execute. But go ahead.
just to show the other side of that, I will say when you see teams like that, the core of it is very mature. So you look at Bellingham, what's it called, up front, you see Kroos and Modric behind. You look at Dortmund, you see Hummels behind. And what's that winger that just retired and came to America? One of their greatest players ever.
Marco
Royce,
Royce.
Michael Royce. Like you see actual like really core dependable people on which everything else is built upon. And whereas like you can have young players as garnish, but this is a very unproven team across the board. Who's the focal point? Who's the what's it called? The rock? Uh, really, Fernandez is as close as they get, but he's so far forward that he really can't be that. Casemiro's supposed to be that, but he can't handle the pace, and so they have to find whatever that is to be an anchor for what they're going to build on top. And so hopefully that's going to be the partnership of Delict and Martinez. What's it called? And have that be the base, because I really do think that we can get more. They can get more from that partnership. But where is that in Man United, and just a quality difference? There was a run by Trent through the center. It was I think it was in lead up to one of the goals, that the quality base in Liverpool. Like I saw a team that it was almost like cartoons where someone like brings like a knife, the other guy like brings like a machete, the other guy brings a small pistol, the other guy brings like a what's it called, a machine gun, the other guy like takes a cannon, the other guy like brings a nuke. Like it's one of those things where it's like Liverpool could keep what's it called meeting Man United's wager, because I saw changes, and after a while Man United just didn't have any answer. Look at the quality of players. You had Nunes coming off the bench, like, and they had budget McTominay coming off the bench.
He actually plays better than McTominay, personally.
I'm
He's
being, I'm
actually
being,
better than McTominay.
I'm being a troll. I'm being a troll. I'm just trying to get a reaction from you every time I say it. But I have a lot of empathy for where Man United is, and I have a little empathy for where Ten Hag is, because the only thing I will say when I agree with you was when we went to Man City last season, we understood our limitations and we played differently. We didn't really play. That's the only game I see in the entire season we played that way. Very defensive, very cagey. Looking forward to contain. So I think after a sense where we can see that like we cannot be anti against Liverpool, I think the mentality should have changed, and you should have managed and just hold on for counters. Really, just be disciplined and hold on for counters, because the pace was still there and the
And that's why
gaps
I
to
think
exploit. Yeah,
that's what I think the original plan would have worked if they were disciplined. If they literally try to consume the pressure and just wait on the counter attack, they can run Liverpool down. But I don't know what they were just doing in the midfield. But go ahead. Sorry, I
yeah.
interrupt.
No, yeah, so I'll say that I definitely concede to you. But for me, my mentality, especially so early, is that Ten Hag wants to play on the front foot. They so badly. Man United so badly wants to play on the front foot, and there are growing pains making that transition. As mhm.
Enough of
At
us,
this,
Mide. What would you have done as a coach? This amigos. Sorry, this show is a long one. We really hope you stick around. But this is for the love of the sport. I really think everyone loves Man United. For our age group, we saw Man United growing up. We probably love Man United. We probably love Alex Ferguson. I saw him on the in the stand down, like I don't know what that man is thinking. So all of these, in as much that I'm a Liverpool fan, it was 3-0 at Old Trafford. I still want to see a better Man United. It brings the competitiveness to the sports, when everybody's doing well, killing it. Then it comes Clash of Titans. So, Mide, what would you have done better as a coach? And what do you think overall? of the game.
And that's the amazing thing about the Amigo show. We talk about these different opinions and these different solutions and problems. We find a way to talk about all the different topics we want to talk about. We literally just dived into everything Man United needs to do within this international break that we have before, before everyone comes back to start playing week 4 of the Premier League. I think for me, to dive into things we need to do to improve, because obviously it's pretty obvious we have to improve for the international break. I mean, I could easily tell Liverpool just needs to do the same thing, but I'd love to hear your thoughts as well on that. And Sam, I would love to hear your thoughts from a Liverpool perspective. I'd love to hear your thoughts from a national perspective. Obviously, what you need to do would be slightly better, but from a United perspective, it's everything you all have said. It really is. It is player selection. It is a style of play. What are you doing when you have the ball as a team? What are you doing when you don't have the ball as a team? And what are you doing in between those moments of the game? That's what needs to be fixed. And Ayo, you mentioned something interesting that makes me start to think, are they really well coached? Are they really well coached? Because if they are, some of these things that are happening should be happening less and less into your third year. So that might be the question we need to start asking ourselves. Are they truly being coached? And maybe that's why he's buying young players, because then he can impose his coaching philosophy to them. But like you said, it's going to take time. From my perspective, I will focus only on the formation as something that needs to be improved. He can work on these things. I feel like they need to go into a room, lock the door for 2 hours, talk about the things that they have not done well, show them video analysis of those things, and then show them things that they are doing well and focus on how they can improve on that. And then from that meeting, they need to have breakout sessions based on the different departments on the field to talk about, again, some of the things they need to do as a unit on and off the ball, midfield, on and off the ball, striker, on and off the ball. And then need to come together again from those different departments, talk about things that they can knit together to be able to start building a style. And then whatever that style is, they need to find the formation that fits the personnel we do have, which personally, I think they should go for a 3-5-2. Well, that's one of the things I wanted to mention that is an insight, which is the third topic we're going to talk about, amigos. An insight to what is going to significantly change in the Premier League based on the 3 games I've seen and what I'm seeing around Europe as well. A lot of teams are changing their formation, not just in the beginning of the game, but in game as well. A lot of teams are doing that now. Man City have already done that, but again, they change it based on who they play slightly. I think teams are now catching on to this, and that's why you notice certain teams are buying specific players for specific reasons, is because they are changing their formation mid-game. And I hope that's what United are doing, because if that's not what they're doing, then they are way back in line. Arsenal is one of them. And I would love you to talk more about some of those things that you're noticing. Arsenal is one of them. They're not just buying random people. Them buying Raheem Sterling, people might think, oh, why did they buy Raheem Sterling? He's getting too old. He's a left winger that can play right wing as well. He can be very prolific if he stays focused. He's very hard to bring down. And when you bring him down, he will cause a foul. That is a very smart move that Arsenal has done. I like the idea. It makes sense. Liverpool, the same thing. They had the players they needed. They didn't need to buy anyone crazy. They bought
Chiesa.
what's his name from
I
Italy?
was
They bought Chiesa, and the reason why they did that is because if someone gets injured there, they can easily bring him in, and he's very unpredictable. He really is.
I was livid when I saw that transfer. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it's because Ayo knows He knows. And that's what I'm noticing. Formation changes are happening all across the footballing world. And that is now driving not just the recruitment of players, but it's also driving the personnel they bring in into those systems and into those styles. They're not People are not buying people randomly anymore. They are not. They are being very precise at what they need. Ayo, we'll start with you. What do you think is something you've noticed that has a significant change to not just the Premier League, but around the world of football over this past 3 weeks?
5 substitutions. That's the biggest change uh, in the history of the game. That's the biggest like leap forward. And so what means is that you can reconfigure. So basically, because it just takes about 3 players, give or take, to entire change the entire way a team works. And so you see a lot of and Pep started this as a lot of versatility. So whenever Gundogan came back, he has to be the most brilliant yet puzzling players I've ever seen in the Premier League. Because what is Gundogan really? I would ask people like what is Gundogan? What kind of player? Do you think he's a defensive midfielder? Do you think he's a central
He
midfielder? Do
can
you think he's an
be. He
attacker?
can
Do you think
be.
he's a winger? Do you think he's a defender? Do you think he's a right back? Do you think he's a left back? Yes. He's all those things, and we're looking for those players that can give you different things in different phases. They can go into different spaces, and you don't notice a difference. So Trent is one of my few very favorite players from Liverpool because he occupies spaces where he operates like the best in those positions. Rico Lewis, that boy is special because they actually they don't they they've taken inverting their wing backs into like a next level where he's not inverted as the base of the midfield, he's inverted as a number 8. Like playing up there, but he can do it all. And every phase of that play, what's it called? He's executing at a high level. Those players are in such high demand. You look at Calafiore and look at his intelligence, is that he can carry the ball through all 3 phases. We saw a little bit of that when we brought him on. During when we're chasing the game. And if Timber hadn't been injured, I think we'd have seen a lot more of that because he had to go more central and allow Zinchenko to come to the left. And that's why we got him. That's what we expected from Timber. And we're looking at players, and which is kind of why I think we took Sterling on loan because we couldn't find that player to buy. And so we took him on loan in the meantime while we got rid of players. And those players coming into your squad, those utility players, those versatile players. Like I'm sure you're going to see a lot more of Elliott when he's more fit because he's one of those players that can do that very very well. Where it's like, what is he really? I'm not like really 100% sure. And those players are a premium right now. And I think that's because you can see them move. Like, okay, we started a game at a 4-4-2. Okay, that's not working. We're going to go to a 4-3. What's it called? 3. Okay, that's not working. We're going to go to a 4-2-4. And they would do that in the space of 30 minutes, no problem. And if they don't have the players on the team to do that change, they just bring in 2 players. And that's it. And that needs a great squad. And so, which is another thing why I'm like, Man United needs to be patient. I don't think they have the squad to do that. I think Arsenal is getting there. I think Liverpool are already there, which, I mean, it should have been apparent to us all, but I guess it's getting more clear now. And I think Man City is clearly there. But that's still a journey for joggers.
Right.
But that's
Before we
that's
move,
why. Yeah, sorry.
right. Before we move to Sam about something significant that he's noticing that will impact the league over this course of the season. Ayo, what are your thoughts about just what you've seen with refereeing and VAR just in general? And does that have the ability to impact just how the season plays out, really?
Yeah. I don't want to say this. I don't want to like lean into controversy. I've been very disappointed with the lack of consistency in refereeing, and sometimes we ignore it if it doesn't change the total outcome of the game. But it's been happening so regularly, and every now and then it does change the way a game flows. That I think it has to be, what's it called? Something has to happen. You either knock all these ridiculous rules out of the game, or you have to be absolutely consistent. and that's the thing that people are asking for. It's not so much that, oh, this shouldn't be a rule, this shouldn't be not a rule, but the subjectivity is trying to play an outside role in how these rules are enforced. I still remember last season when Martinelli got two yellow cards for the same action, and I was like, how is that possible? When what's it called? I can't remember who it was. Our Tomiyasu, he got a second yellow on a throw-in, and what's it called? And got sent off. And these are little things where it's like, that's not
Very
consistent.
inconsistent.
Yeah,
Very inconsistent.
and you either have to be like consistent. It is a 2 second rule. In 2 seconds, this doesn't happen. You get a yellow. I'm fine with that. But they have to be consistent. Like I'm not going. I know it's a hard game to referee games like this, especially with all these emotions. But I don't think they do themselves any favors with how inconsistent they are.
No, I absolutely agree with you, Sam. What are your insights to some of the things you've seen over the first 3 weeks of the season, and what might have a lasting effect on the rest of the league this year?
I'm seeing a lot of referee inconsistency. What I think to answer your question, I will answer your question. But what I found funny was the Newcastle game that the referee probably got tired or injured and they had to sub referee.
Oh
They
yeah,
had
no,
to.
he pulled his hamstring. He pulled something. Yes, yes,
I was like,
yes.
he
I mean,
asked
they
me.
do get injured. They do run.
I said they get tired too. Mine is probably honestly nothing negative. It's just a business as usual thing. I want to say Man City is on fire, and I agree with what you guys said. Changing formation little by little, it's a thing in the game now. City has been doing it. They don't change like crazy. They just put one guy in there and just tweak it, adjust, adapt, and all of that. So I think it's just more or less of Erling Haaland being fit. It's too scary for the league right now. I don't know what that would lead to towards the end. It's a positive thing for me.
No, exciting times. No matter how downcast I might be with Manchester United, it would be a sweet moment when we start playing well. No matter how long that might take. It's been 10 years of ups and downs and changes left, right, and center. There needs to be some consistency, and within that consistency, there will be challenges and there will be days like this where we just have to push through. I remember when Arsenal went through theirs, and the word then was trust the process. I'm seeing it now. Liverpool was the same thing. When Liverpool wasn't doing well, even with Klopp, he still stuck to his plan, and they started playing well, and they became as efficient as ever. And now that they've changed coaches, the board have picked a coach that still fits that system, but brings something extra with one, I would say, is discipline, two, more possession of the ball, and three, more attacking patterns, but still keeping the same fight, the same fervor, the same aggression of winning the ball back that has been pretty much an identity of Liverpool over the past 5 to 10 years. And that is an example of how you recruit a good coach into your team. Not saying Ten Hag isn't that. There's just been a lot of changes, and he has to make certain changes as well. So, again, I have to be optimistic. Looking forward to the season. Amigos, we've said a lot tonight. It's always fun. We love your opinions. Please like, share, and subscribe. Let us know in the comment section what your thoughts about some of the topics in terms of the reactions from week 3 that we've talked about today. Some of the things that your teams would like to improve on or consistently do that will make you better into the course of the season. I feel like Chelsea is another one where joined to Crystal Palace with all of the players they've bought, they still have a long way to go as well. So that's going to be an exciting topic to talk about on a different day, what Chelsea would look like at the end of this season versus now.
I'm the biggest hater.
I can see why.
The way that you walk, the way that you talk, the way that you dress.
But it'll just be interesting to see that. But exciting times, amigos. Exciting times. Thank you so much for your time today. We will definitely have more content coming up for you. But amigos, thank you so much for your time. Looking forward to talking to you all soon. As always, stay positive. Amigo Sam, final thoughts?
I think it's going to be an interesting season. Liverpool should definitely watch out for fatigue. Use all the subs if you can when you can. I don't think Salah should play the entire game against Man United after the scoreline. I think we can put players like Harvey Elliott, make a little more substitution, start thinking about the future. We have Champions League coming up, which is going to be an exciting time for everybody. And
yeah, you had to rub it in. We're not in Champions League.
No,
You
no, no,
just
no.
had to rub it in. You had to rub
I
it in.
literally,
Yeah,
I almost said
Yeah,
we're all
sure.
gonna be in
Yeah, sure.
Champions League, but I
At this
forgot.
point, at this point, you just think that every team is in the Champions League, but then you just forget that
Hey, they got competition too.
Whatever.
They have something that they have to prepare
What? Why
for.
is
It
it? Why
gives
is it? Is it
Yes, it's the
Europa?
second level of Champions
Oh
League.
yeah, yeah. Sorry, I
Yes,
forgot the name was.
yes.
Yeah.
Whatever,
hey,
whatever.
it gives you time to prepare, and you might even catch up and maybe be second on the league behind Man City.
Honestly, it's a route into the Champions League.
It is.
I personally don't think Man United can get top four this season. I think that's out of the question. I think the overall quality is too much, but I do think they can still get in the Champions League. I mean, that's what a winner gets, right? The winner gets a spot.
Mm-hmm.
Mm,
Yeah,
Really?
so they should
Yes,
they
the
should
winner
take
of
it
Europa League
seriously.
gets the Champions League
Yeah.
spot. Yeah,
Europa or the Super Cup? What is that?
Europa.
Europa.
Are they in Europa? I thought Newcastle
They
beat
won
them.
the FA Cup, so that's what got
Oh,
them
okay,
in.
okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
And so I really do think that it does matter that you guys like try, because I looked at the groups you guys have played. They're not great teams. So I hopefully you get to the next round and you win. But yeah, it's definitely important.
And for
Mhm.
what it's worth, if you win a title, it's better than getting knocked out in group stage of one competition.
Your final thoughts?
It's just such a competitive season. The margins are just too low. Like anything, any poor decision, and the game just changes. We were watching two great games with you see Crystal Palace, you see Chelsea, you see Newcastle, you see Tottenham, and you see serious teams with serious quality and serious coaching. And that's not even talking about the top dogs, the ones that you understand, and the people who want to be part of that group and it's just like to make that top eight is an achievement. To make that top six, you need to be special, and that top four you've got to be phenomenal, and then whoever wins is whoever wins. And I think it's just so competitive. I love it. Yeah.
No, we love it. We all love it too, and I'm sure the amigos do. Thank you all so much for your time today. As always, stay positive, amigos. We'll talk to you all soon. Take care.
Adios, amigo. Up Liverpool.